This at the moment, and that's Derique Montaut. Derique, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Derique, let's start off because, of course, we've got the election coming up now. Election for both the for seats in Swindon Borough Council, and we have, for the first time for something like 40 years, a referendum coming up for AV. So let's start off. What's your vision for Swindon as far as the Labour Party is concerned?
I tell you, the vision the Labour Party has is a vision that I have, and most of us have, and that we've invested our lives by living in a town, and we've invested it because there is jobs in Swindon. It had a vibrant economy. It had excellent service that was recognised second to none, and it's for those reasons that we want to live in Swindon. Not what we are now seeing is a reversal of that position.
Well, when you say it's a reversal of that position, exactly, be more specific. What has reversed? Why are there problems in Swindon now?
I think there are a number of factors. We've gone from one of the fastest growing towns in Western Europe. In fact, we were the fastest growing under Labour's watch, but you'd expect me to say that as a Labour politician. But that is a fact of a dynamic economy that was based on the delivery of services that we had delivered on. And a number of employers wanted to relocate their national headquarters to Swindon because it was the appropriate area to be. That is no longer the case. And it's for those reasons, I think, employment is one of the major factors that has a spin-off, right, in delivering the quality of services that we require to have.
But realistically, Derique, can you actually blame that on a political party, or is that not just a turn down in the economy?
Look, I can't blame it on the. I'd like to think I'm a fair person, but, I'm a Labour politician as well. The national economy had hit some obstacles because of the financial crisis, undeniable. What we have said as a Labour Party is it ought to be spread over a longer period. The impact it's having in the delivery of services by forwarding the cuts, right? And if you look at it in detail, let me just deal with one area of the cuts. The adult social care budget, underfunded by over 2 million, in a series of cuts since this administration has been in control. Totally unacceptable, to hit the elderly like that. Let's come down to the children and young families. Sure Start service. Told that there wasn't a cut in Sure Start service in the initial stages, and then found in looking at it in a finer detail that it was 12% and then it went up to 20%. It has the effect on the most vulnerable within our communities. And it's for those reasons that I'm appealing for people on the question of fairness to support Labour.
Okay, if we had the situation where you were in power, you still only have a certain amount of money, where would you have put the cuts then?
Where we would put it? At the heart of any Labour policy would be fairness. The most vulnerable would be opposed to the vulnerable being hit, the old, the young. The fact, right, that we wouldn't deal with situations of those people that work for the council service who've delivered the home care service, who was declared by the inspectorate as excellence, and they were rewarded by redundancy notice being handed to them. Now, that's not the type of values that Labour stands for.
So you'd definitely look to alter that and change that significantly?
I think there would be a cultural change of taking people along with us. Yes, we know that some hard decisions would need to be made, but we wouldn't be making it the way that this authority is. If you look at regeneration has failed. What they've done is on the Future Jobs Fund, they've knocked the budget out from it. We've seen 450 jobs lost for young people between 16 and 24 on it. And the impact with those idle hands if they haven't got employment. The youth have been hit very, very badly. And the price for those job cuts is yet to unravel.
Derique, I know that you can't become the governing party in this election. This is only a move towards doing that if you win. But are you saying that once you do become, you will reverse the privatisation of the adult social care?
We're unable to say that. I mean, what we'll have to do is to look in more detail at the finances of it, and it might be too far down the road, in all honesty. What I am saying to you is we don't believe that adult social care, which had a budget of 1.35 million in there, and to take 1 million out of it, and a business case was made on it, and if I could buy into that business case, and I have bought into that business case, why couldn't it have been delivered in-house? And that's the question it raises, and it's never been answered. Why didn't the Conservative administration do it last year and the year before it? The case, right, for reforms to that service was clearly laid out by the administration. And I'm not arguing with that business case. What I'm arguing is how they brought it in and why they haven't done it before. You can't take out over £1 million over a budget of 1.35 and say that it's not going to have an impact on the service users. And what are we talking about? Those disabled individuals, the very elderly. It's our mums and our grandmothers. Now, I don't want to live in a community, in a society that is uncaring and uncompassionate. And that's why I think that I'm appealing for people that if they feel that some of the arguments that we are laying out is right, that they consider their position and vote Labour.
We'll take a short break there. We'll be back straight after this, and we'll talk about an area that you had touched on, which is regeneration. Derek, tell me a little bit. We were talking about town regeneration. I mean, how can you do that? Why does it appear to have stalled so badly?
I think the administration...
No, don't worry about that.
I wonder what was going on there. No, the administration have failed in delivering the regeneration policy. The fact, right, that our town has been run down for a long period, whilst we've seen some improvements in recent times, it's fallen short of what we want. It doesn't reflect our railway heritage. It doesn't reflect the type of businesses that we need to have within it. And the fact, right, that local communities haven't been consulted on the type of regeneration. It's top-down driven. And it's costing far too much money for the Borough Council, which it subsidises the Forward Swindon Company. The Labour Group's policy is that we want to bring that in-house and show that as a saving.
As talking about regeneration, the Forward Swindon Company, the big regeneration scheme that is probably going to be the one that's going to start this year before the end of the year is the Union Square development. At the moment, everyone knows that the Whale Bridge roundabout is being altered, and that's been altered before the developer has even applied for planning permission for that area. So it's a traffic scheme for a development that hasn't even been signed off yet. Mm-hmm. What's the Labour position on that idea of you spend money on something in case something might happen? So you've seen that in town with the fountain, with the paving, with all the work that's been done there. In terms of you do all the sort of bits around it rather than doing the big pieces first. What's the Labour position on that?
I'll tell you what Labour's position is. What we're opposed to, right, is to being held to ransom by developers just prior to a development, and I think it was relatively weeks, that the Whalebay roundabout was to start, that we were informed of their position, and that was subject to a 2 million grant, and if we didn't agree to it, right, there was some talk whether they would pull out for it. And the consequence, right, of that development has ramifications on local communities, both on the quality of life and the environment they live in and the traffic flows and the rat runs. None of this was addressed during that process. And it's something that's being looked at currently. And it's those type of schemes and that we would be opposed to. We would want to work with all sectors, with the business community, with local communities and the Borough Council. What we don't want to do it is for these things to be decided behind closed doors.